Hodgkin lymphoma. Honestly, I still am trying to figure out exactly what it is. But something with the lymph nodes and blood. I know definitely no blood. How would you react if the doctor said that you had cancer, right? You might be 15 years old. You might be 20. You might be 30. You might be 50. You might be 117. Whatever age you are listening to this right now, I just want you to think, how would you have reacted to having cancer? How would you react, right? For me, the two words that come to mind straight away is silence and shock. The S words, as you could say. Silence and shock. I thought anger would be the top one, but it actually wasn't. That kind of came later in the journey. The initial, like the first reaction, without thinking, like click your fingers and go, what would you say? What would your reaction be? And silence and shock was pretty much everyone that I told had one of the two. And it's a kind of a tough pill to swallow, you could say. I mean, 23 years old, I'm not really preparing for that, right? I'm not really preparing for something like this. I always saw, like, on the news and you know, these people with cancer and you know, really sad things like accidents and you know, I was like, you know, damn, like, I feel so bad for these people that, you know, have to go through this really tough stuff, right? And it happened to me. And it was like, whoa, like watching the news and seeing like them do something about cancer, like after I got diagnosed, I was like, whoa, like I'm them now. And you always think about them as being, oh, poor them, but like, I'm just human. They're just a human, right? We're just people that have experienced stuff. And I think, you know, until you experience it, you always kind of think those things like, you know, I'm all good, like that won't happen to me. But everyone is just a human being experiencing different stuff. And I never really, being so young, I guess I was naive in thinking that would never happen. You know, when I told my friends, you know, I've known some people since literally I was in prep or foundation or whatever you call it. And it's like, I'm trying to remember how many years ago that was. It would have been at least 18 years ago now. That's crazy, knowing for someone for 17, 18 years. Like, you could never look at that person like as a 5-year-old and go like, in 18 years, like you're gonna have cancer. Like, that's a crazy thing to happen, and to think, right? And I'm getting deja vu right now for some reason. I'm just looking at my laptop. Anyway, the way I reacted was obviously shock, and obviously, you know, not expected. And the silence part was, I didn't know what to say. And I remember driving home, you know, when I first got diagnosed, and I was sitting in the car, and Mum and Dad were in the car with me, and, you know, it was about 40 minutes on the way home, and we just sat in silence. Now, I kind of knew that it was, you know, I had symptoms, and I kind of knew I was being tested for it, but I never really the reality doesn't hit until you've said it. It's been said to you, right? I did imagine, my mind imagined a lot of different things and worse than what it was. So, but on the way home, it was just silence, and it was like I didn't know how to react. And as much as the odds might have been in my favor, and it won't be so bad, and I'm a young and healthy adult, so that helped. When you hear those words, or you hear the word cancer, there's really nothing that can be said to make it feel any better, I guess. Maybe for people, when I said 90% curable, they were like, all right, okay, yes, doctors, they're with you, they've got you, it's going to be a 3-month journey, that's okay. For me, cancer was cancer, right? There's nothing that you could have told me to make me feel any better. And of course, there was hope, right, that I'd get back to normal, but just as soon as he said, it is cancer, everything else he said after that, it just didn't matter to me. And the silence and the shock were huge, but the bigger reaction, which was the reaction that came after, not the initial reaction, the reaction that came after, during 3 months and after, which where I am right now, only 6 weeks after I finished, is praise, I guess, or happiness. It gave me a reason to live again. And that's kind of the reaction that matters in the end, right? Because now I get to rethink my life where otherwise I wouldn't have. And my reaction to what I went through was, this experience broke me down to my core, and it tested me. And if you were to ask me the question, how would you react to cancer before I had it? If you were to just hypothetically ask me, I would have said I'd be so angry, I'd smash plates, I'd smash windows. This is why I told you I thought I'd be angry, because reality is, that's what I thought I'd do. If you asked me the question, that's what I would have said. But kind of deep down, I knew I needed cancer. I actually needed it to happen in order to change my life. I wouldn't be talking right now if it wasn't cancer. And going in, getting poked so many times through my vein, I tell you, it was not great. Over 30, I think 35 times I got poked. It was tough, man. It was tough. But I will always take that experience and be really proud that it wasn't just a sickness and get over and get back to normal. I kind of hate saying back to normal, because I'm not going back to normal. I'm going above. I don't want to go back to what I was before. I want to go even more. And if you get anything out of, I wonder how this 23-year-old reacted to cancer. It was grateful. That's probably the best way to say it. I am super, super grateful that this happened, because I am a better person because of it. And I will never forget it. And the silence and shock has worn off. I still sometimes sit and wonder, wow, did I really go through that? But wow, am I so grateful that it did. or I did go through that experience. Let me know if you've been through something similar, maybe an accident, maybe losing someone, or something really life-changing like that. And how did you react to it? Yes, how did you initially react to it? Second it happened, or you heard it happened, or you were told about it. But what was the reaction? How did it change your life? What reaction did it have in your life as a whole? Because I think that's really what matters in the end of the day. And something as big as cancer, it sucked, but I'm eternally grateful for it. I hope you have an awesome day, and I'll see you around.